So sometimes guides will try to bring people into like the highest level celestial experience that they think they can handle, to try to wake them up a little bit, to help them understand God, the universe, and their full potential. I think sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, but ultimately people do what makes them happy. And if working at Arby's does make someone happy, then that's as celestial as merging with the cosmos, because it's about the purpose that souls create for themselves and their role in the universe. Welcome to Afterlife Topics and Metaphysics. This is your host, Cyrus, and I wanted to get back to some proper afterlife-related videos now that I am back on Facebook. That ordeal is over for the time being anyway. And back to reading posts on the group. Now, my account on Facebook is restricted. There's a lot of stuff I can't do, but I can read posts and I can make replies, at least in my own group. I'm banned from posting in other groups or posting multimedia, posting links, all of that because of a nameless violation I made, which Facebook will not reveal to me whatever the violation even was to begin with. But there you go. That's Facebook for you. So in this video, I wanted to talk about the differences between a cosmic experience and an astral experience, and why that matters, why this is an extremely overlooked area in metaphysical exploration. And it also means a lot for the field. It means a lot for how people can interpret their experiences, and also causes, I'd say, an incredible amount of confusion. And I don't know many places that talk about this, so I wanted to bring this up here. Before we jump into this, there's a couple pieces of news. As you know, as usual, I run all around the world. I'm in a yet new location. I'll do a video, a walk around video, I think, again soon in a day or two to show off my latest location. But I left Thailand, and let's see. So I wanted to mention that I will be producing a podcast version of this channel soon. You may be wondering, what is the difference between a podcast and watching me on video? The answer is not a whole lot, except that podcasts mean being able to get the work on popular platforms like iTunes, SoundCloud, or some of these different places which accept audio-only formats, and they have stricter standards about audio quality and style of programming. But if I can hit those criteria and I can get on all those platforms, I think it would increase the reach of this work a bit. And I will also post those podcasts on this channel. So what I plan to do is kind of start from the beginning, back from when I made this channel active over a year ago, and a couple of my original videos that they date back like 2 or 3 years ago, and kind of just start from the ground up again about the afterlife. What is it? What's the evidence for it? How do we know that it's there? What were my experiences? How this whole thing started? And begin doing this in the podcast format now, so that people who watch this channel have a good user experience. I'll make it very clear what the thumbnails look like, which are the podcasts versus the normal videos like this one. And you can also use that to distinguish or decide if you want to hear content, which, if you've been following all my work, it may be a bit redundant, because some of it will be for possibly newer audiences. And again, the podcast format means you definitely don't have to see my face, although I guess some people don't mind my face, but you won't have to. It'll just be for listening while you jog or while you're driving to work. Podcast, purely audio formats allow you to do that. And then in addition to that, if I can get the audio nice, which, by the way, there's a bit of an echo in this studio apartment I'm in, which means that, doing any recording, I have to get into a space without the echo. I can get to, if I can make the audio good enough, then I may begin the process of doing the audio recording of at least my first book, Understanding Life After Death. Many people have requested that. It's a huge undertaking. I have never felt confident doing it myself, but now that I've spent a year doing these videos and speaking to you guys and doing audio work, I feel maybe more confident to make a audio book by the author instead of paying $500, $600, $700 to a voice talent to do it for me, which is outside of my budget. Last thing to note before we continue with this video, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video if you like this content, or consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/afterlife topics if you think these topics are important for people to learn about. So to continue, this video comes about through a post that came up on the group by a girl named Stephanie. And she asks, did anyone else experience having spiritual organs, like in their spiritual body, while in the process of dying? Some predictable responses like, how can there be organs? Because, we're cosmic consciousness, balls of light when we die. And then other people saying, yeah, we do have organs, I've experienced them. And then other people saying, no, you didn't, because you cannot have organs. So it's the usual kind of back and forth that we see when this topic comes up, and this is why there's so much confusion, because when you have an out-of-body experience or you have an NDE, near, I can't even say the D word, YouTube will censor me, the near passing experience, then you can have either a cosmic consciousness experience, or you may have an experience with what we call the astral condition, the astral plane, the astral dimension, which is a parallel dimension to this world. It's we could call a higher vibrational realm by comparison to the world we're in right now, and is quite literally the afterlife. A cosmic consciousness experience could be that your guide comes and pulls your consciousness away from your body, and takes you out into the cosmos, and you meet God, and you have some mass merging experience with some cosmic entity or the light, and you get shown the past and the future, all this kind of stuff. That's this really high level stuff that we read about in certain NDEs. But those experiences, like the best way to understand it is to think of an experience like that as being pretty much like a celestial level DMT trip. So DMT is just badly emulating the level of experience that you have when you have a proper like NDE, when you have cardiac arrest and you have an experience like that. And I do think that what happens is we have these higher level entities around us, guides, some people want to call them angels, whatever floats your boat, and they have a tendency or predisposition to want to show us the big picture so that hopefully we don't get stuck in habitual behaviors from this side once we cross over into what I would have to call kind of like the actual afterlife condition. So many people, they cross over and then they had a life here and they find they're still alive in an astral or spiritual form and decide to just keep living the same kind of life they used to have here, for better or worse. So somebody has a job they hate here, they don't know how to do anything else but work at Arby's, and that even though they were never happy doing it, so they go to the astral world and find that so much of it is like a carbon copy of this planet. They go find the nearest Arby's and submit a job application, and now cousin Leroy, who passed away suddenly from eating too much Arby's, suddenly now he's working back at Arby's again on that side, and then in a medium it says like, I see cousin Leroy and he's working with roast beef, and you think, oh, that's hilarious, there's no way there's actually an Arby's in the afterlife, so it must be a joke, it must be something he's showing me to identify it's him. The medium will say, yes, of course, because we become omniscient, light beings who are made of pure love and blah, blah, blah. But in this case, both the client and the medium might be confused because, as it turns out, cousin Leroy may literally be making low-quality roast beef sandwiches in an astral city. in people who do projection experiences and see the mediocrity of many levels of parallel dimensions can testify that, yeah, it's very feasible. But why would somebody get caught up doing the same stuff that they used to do here? Because they don't know what an afterlife is. They don't know that they're in an astral body or another dimension, another universe. So they just return to doing the same stuff they used to do. So sometimes guides will try to bring people into like the highest level celestial experience that they think they can handle, to try to wake them up a little bit, to help them understand God, the universe, and their full potential. I think sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, but ultimately people do what makes them happy. And if working at Arby's does make someone happy, then that's as celestial as merging with the cosmos, because it's about the purpose that souls create for themselves and their role in the universe. And so we can't judge somebody for that. But the point I'm getting at is that a cosmic merging experience isn't an astral experience, and vice versa. So the reason there's so much contention is because somebody can have this high level, like kind of celestial DMT trip, and then they will come back and say, there was no body, there was no civilization, there wasn't like another world with people, the afterlife isn't like that, you become formless, all-powerful consciousness. And they firmly believe that, and then they will go on forums and tell people that. Then you have a different crowd of people like, Stephanie here, they have experiences in astral bodies with organs, they have a tongue, they have fingers and fingernails, and they're in what feels like a physical, solid environment. And now they're super confused because they're like, okay, people online are telling me that I couldn't have had this kind of like physical experience in a different body, because they're telling me that the afterlife, you become formless, all-powerful consciousness, entity beings, light beings. So this can't be true, but so I must have hallucinated this. And then in some places they'll tell you that yes, you did hallucinate this, because they don't understand that this other type of experience happens. And you also get the people who, because there's these two different types of experiences people have, you'll get people, again, who are only fans of the kind of cosmic DMT trip experiences, and then they'll say, the astral world is an illusion, it's fake, it's a dream, it's a hallucination, because the real experience is merging with the divine light of the creator, blah, blah, blah. And that's also completely incorrect, because we can't arbitrarily say what's real and what's not real. I mean, we can say this world is not real, but still, I'm sorry to say, this table is real, and there's real energy that's real. It's a real place with real people living their lives. So you can't just dismiss all of that as being fake or irrelevant, when really it's completely relevant. It has to do with our evolution, our progression as souls in the cosmos. And it is my hypothesis that many people, we might have this cosmic experience when we cross over, or we might not. Depends. Some people, they just wake up in an astral condition. They could be in a city, they could be in a heavenly city made of crystal cities and crystal buildings and castles and things like that. Or, it could be a very normal looking place like here on the earth plane, but regardless, it's like a real place with a civilization and people. And then some people, they have a cosmic merging experience, or they have a celestial experience, or they see the galaxy, or they fly into space, and all kinds of stuff that happens. And all of that's great too. But we can't be saying that one is better than the other, or one exists and the other one doesn't exist. And certainly the same goes if people are having astral level experiences. You can't say that meeting the light, or having high experience, exalted experience with the cosmic entity, that's fake or that's a trick. That's the same issue. So we can't be dismissing those experiences just because you haven't had them. And so this is the problem with humans, is humans have a difficult time walking and chewing gum. You have to be able to hold two concepts at once in your mind, that two different things can be true. And because humans suck at doing that, that's where we have so much violence and strife and political turmoil, because we don't like to do that. We prefer to say one thing is better than everything else, one thing is exclusive of everything else, one thing exists and something else doesn't exist. Republicans are right and Democrats are wrong. Democrats are superior to Republicans. something that got mixed up when the ETs were making our DNA and turning us into the highly adaptable and highly creative entities that we are. And something got messed up in the laboratory, and you ended up with this condition we have like that manifests itself again and again and again. But long story short, we have to be aware that you can have these two different types of experiences. And I do encourage people who only think about one type of experience to consider that people like Stephanie here can have the other type of experience where it's like, what the heck? If I'm outside my body, how come I have skin, a tongue, a nose, organs? How come I can breathe and I can feel my lungs? And it's my estimation. I've been going to other topics about the nature of astral organs. Some of them I think are functional. Some of them I think are not functional. I don't think digestive processes operate the same way. And I think a lot of the organ systems are tied into chakra systems. I think the body itself has a sacred power that, our physical body is almost just a representation of different chakra systems and different energy points that have different functions, whether that's sexual energy down here, mental energy, loving heart energy. There's these different functions, and organs have like practical physiology that is also powered by these different energies, right? And that's why theoretically you could have a health issue in one particular area if the energy system in that area is for some reason out of whack, depending on your personality and your moods and on your thought processes, right? And so the astral level, all those organs come back again, but they may be functioning a bit differently, and they may be more closely attuned to those energy systems, but they're still there for the most part. Because I do think that everything here just copies itself directly to the other side. So when you see a ghost float by, in a white dress, translucent, well, if you would just match the physicality, the vibrational level of that ghost, and you could solidly touch them and feel them, you'll find that they have skin, they have blood, they're flesh and blood, which would mean that the astral plane is a corporeal existence like this one. So people call it non-corporeal. Like even somebody in the comments here was like, you can't have bodies if you're non-corporeal. I don't think it's true. I think you are corporeal, and that's something we have to figure out and learn about. And while also understanding that the body system is, the mind will create physicality around it. And so you can change your body oftentimes into whatever you want. So if you really want to be if you're a furry and, the only thing that gives you meaning in life is to be like a half tiger, half human, anthropomorphic person, you'll be able to do that on the astral side because it's malleable to thought. My mom, who's deceased, told me that her form is very much dependent on her inner thoughts about herself. So literally, if she wakes up and thinks that she's pretty, she's going to look pretty. If she thinks that she's old and ugly, she's going to look old and ugly. So she basically told me it's a projection of your inner thoughts about yourself, which is automatically the body that you have, and it's still a physical and real body, which she says is even vulnerable. Like you can still get that body destroyed or shot or something if you're not careful on the astral plane. And then this is when we talk about in other videos the problem of being disembodied. So you can actually quote die on the astral plane, and then you have to get a new body again, which specialists have to help you with, or it's a huge hassle, so people avoid like falling into volcanoes on the astral plane, because even though your body is a projection of your thoughts, it still has enough substance that it's vulnerable even on that side, which again, that's controversial. Not everybody believes that. No problem if you don't. It's just what deceased people have told me, and other people who, when we exchange notes on the group or with other people who do astral travel, have reported similar things. So I think it's interesting. So anyway, that's today's topic. Hope you all liked it. Consider buying books like Understanding Life After Death or The Afterlife and Beyond. You can find those at afterlifetopics.com. You can get involved there, as well as the new Afterlife Topics Reddit group. So that's reddit.com/r/afterlife Afterlife Topics, a new forum. If you don't want to use Facebook, you can get on there. I used it when I was banned last week, all week, and I thought I was never coming back. So it's very important to have an alternative community to the Facebook one, because Facebook could just kill this whole operation at any day, up to the whims of the Facebook cabal. But although things are getting better, Zuckerberg made an announcement 2 days ago that he is reversing all of his anti-free speech policies. He's going to let anyone share and talk about anything they want on Facebook from now on, which is a smart move, because if that actually works, then if Facebook becomes a free speech platform, then Zuck is shifting to the right side of history, and I'll be, a loyal Facebook user so long as they have me here. That whole banning happened obviously before this policy was implemented. Right now, at least I don't know when all that's fully implemented, but right now you share the wrong thing, say the wrong thing, share the wrong link, have the wrong political viewpoint, have the wrong spiritual viewpoint, you could potentially get kicked off the platform. Really nasty. But if that's all ending, then that's superb. Anyway, thanks for watching, and hope this video was helpful to you, and I'll see you all next time.